called the Deals or No Deals, and that is where not only do we provide dinner free for everybody that evening, Andre and I buy everybody dinner. It's a huge buffet style. It's called the Teppanyaki Grill. It's across the river. For those of you that have issues with crossing the river, yes, we forgot to cross the river to the other side of Maryland. We try to keep things cohesive for everybody all the way around the Beltway. It's not that far to get there. It's a really unique meeting. Each one of our meetings is totally different. This meeting is set up classroom style, where we bring in a lot of our strategic local partners, our business associates, our coaches, people that we align with that are out in the trenches every day, helping you here in this local market to take your investment career to the next level. Just like we have Sid and his team here with us tonight. The District RIA platform is where we oftentimes bring in some of our national speakers. Sue Nelson, who came in back at the end of March, who talked about note buying. We have, I believe his name is Mark. I don't know, I'm drawing a blank on his name, I apologize. I think it's Mark Risto. He's going to be here from Newport Beach or Virginia Beach, Virginia, and has a lot of interesting and very, very exciting things to talk about with regard to the market. And at our deals meeting, not only is there an incredible amount of networking, but we don't actually have a guest presenter. What we have are investors just like you, just like I, that get up and present different deals that they're working on, deals that they have available for wholesale, deals that they have available that are retail, deals that they have available that they have been working on that have been very successful, that they're trying to unload. Whatever type of a deal, whether it's residential, commercial, multi-unit, that you have that you want to present to the group, trying to wholesale, or whether you're a buyer and you are looking for properties to purchase. It's a very, very popular meeting. We had a huge turnout last week. I know there was a lot of networking going on and deals that were happening. So that is the fourth Wednesday of every month, 6:30. That's in Lanham at the Teppanyaki Grill. As always, you can go to districtria.com and see our events calendar. And so all of the information is there. We're constantly uploading lots of new information. And for those of you that are here for the first time, and you raised your hands like this and said you were just getting started as a realtor, by the way, you should be very proud, and that hand should be up all the way. How many of you are investor agents? You're actually investors, and you're also an agent, licensed as an agent. 2 hands? Okay. What I'll share with you just a little bit about my experience, and then I'm going to bring Sid up, because I know he has a tremendous amount of information to share. I was an international hair designer, platform artist, and educator for 18 years, and then I was hit by a drunk driver and left paralyzed 16 years ago. And I got into real estate because one of my clients at the time was the manager of the local Weichert office. She said, Tammy, you have such an outgoing personality, you should become a realtor. And I'm not kidding you. I said, why in the world would anybody do something like that? I knew nothing about it. Well, I was a single mom with 2 kids, and little did I know, I knew nothing about being a realtor, but I knew I had a mortgage to pay, I had 2 kids to support, all by myself, and I needed to do something once I got out of rehab and once I got through all of the surgery. So I signed up with Weichert's program. It had a great educational program, and before I knew it, Wes Foster approached my manager, because she was one of the best managers in the area, and our entire office left Weichert in Bethesda, Maryland, and we actually went to the Long and Foster office. From there, I learned the value of education and working with a mentor, as I was telling you about. And I still at that time did not know anything about investing, and it wasn't until one day I went on a listing appointment with my mentor, and it was at a rehab in Laurel, Maryland, a little tiny 2-bedroom rehab, and the guy was so frustrated he couldn't get it finished, didn't have the construction done, he had the property listed on the market, and I thought, well, this doesn't show very well. And at that point, I was dating my now husband, and I knew that he was very handy. And I said, well, maybe my husband could help get this house ready so that we could get it on the market and get it cleaned up. I still didn't know anything. So that's what we did. And all of a sudden it started realizing, wait a minute, if he's handy and I'm a realtor, what is this thing? So I started talking to him and I said, Rich, I said, what is this? Why did you buy this? And he said, because I'm flipping it. I said, what do you mean flipping it? And that was the beginning of me learning about real estate investing. And he shared with me what he bought it for. It was a HUD home that he won off of the internet, how much money he had put into it. He really didn't know a whole lot about what he was doing, and he was a hairy homeowner, so he was doing it himself. Big lesson about that. And the one thing I did give him credit for is that he decided to work with me. But the only reason he decided to work with me is because I was the Rookie of the Year, because my specialty was in FSBOs, for sale by owner. They're the most difficult to work with because the sellers that have their house on the market think they know everything. They think their house is always the best. They think it's going to sell for the best price, and they're the most difficult to work with. But here's the thing, as a motivated buyer, what properties are already listed? Are for sale by owners already out there on the market? They're already out there for sale. So I knew if I could get those properties under contract and actually, or get them under a listing agreement, then I would be on my way to having listings in my pocket, because I was taught that as a realtor, the best way to be in the strongest position is to be the listing agent, because you're guaranteed and secured your income. Realtors agree? Disagree? Much better to be the listing agent.
Listers or lasters?
Huh?
Listers or lasters?
That's right.
One of my clients always says that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we helped him get the house ready. I still had no idea what I was doing. I really didn't. Got the house on the market, and it sold very quickly for more money. Not a lot, maybe $12,000 or $13,000 more than what he wanted, and I was so excited. And that's when I talked to my husband, and I said, I don't know what this flipping thing is, but I need to do research. I need to figure it out. I went online and started doing research, and I learned about my first mentor as an investor, and her name is Robin Thompson. Anybody heard of Robin Thompson? All right. We've actually, it was such an honor a year ago to have her come in to the RIA, because she was my first mentor. When I sat in Connecticut inside of a room of 300 people learning about investing and rehabbing, and I knew right then and there, after 5 days with her, after going on the buses, I was armed with knowledge. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I volunteered my husband and my boyfriend at the time, I volunteered all of his hours, all of his time, and I said, you're going to do the rehabbing, I'm going to find the house, you're going to do the rehabbing, you're going to swing the hammer, we're going to make a great team, we're going to sacrifice, we're going to save money, then as the realtor, I'm going to list it, and after I list it, then we're going to get this $50,000 check and everything's going to be great, right? Guys, that's how a lot of investors still do it today. And it is very exciting, but I can tell you there's a much better way. Because that sacrifice in that way of being an investor agent can surely put you into just another job. It literally will become just another job. Now, fast forward 16 years, we own, manage, and control over 400 units. We're getting ready to pick up another 100 units in Pennsylvania. Life is very different, life is very good, but I couldn't function today without people like Sid, without my attorneys, without the accountants, without my bookkeepers, without my management team, without my maintenance team, without Vicky, my executive director, without Andre, my business partner, without Brian, who runs, you have to, as an investor, if you're going to be an agent and an investor, or an agent or an investor. Either way, it doesn't matter what hat you wear. Hopefully you understand the power of being able to marry the two together. But whatever you're going to do, you have got to surround yourself with a team that is going to mentor you, educate you, and take you to the level that you can't get yourself to. You also have to have systems, tools, resources, systems implemented and in place. I'm a people person. I was a hairdresser. I stood behind a chair. I stood on platform. My job consisted of a pair of scissors, a hair color brush, and a comb. I didn't know what a business plan was. I didn't know what an operating agreement was. I didn't know what systems were. I didn't even know how to use Excel. I didn't need to. All I needed to do was go mix up 8N and 8A with 30 volume, mix it up really good in the bowl, sit there, have a fantastic conversation about who was doing what and seeing who and what kids were doing what, and I made great money. So systems, guys, are what's going to make your life get to the next level. Even today, I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning. My head spins consistently. And by 6 o'clock, I was on the phone with my bookkeeper. My bookkeeper is in Wisconsin. And we do everything remotely. We do everything virtual. It was also a very, very challenging day for me because today my daughter, my baby girl, deployed to Afghanistan for a year. So she's gone. So keep her in your thoughts and prayers. So with all of that being said, Kathy and I were sitting there this morning on the phone. She's a military mom too. Her son is actually in Afghanistan as well. And she said, Tammy, what are we going to do about this? And I said, well, Kathy, I know we need to create this project invoice because all of the people that work for us are independent contractors. And she said, I don't mean to come down on you, but you realize that when you say you're going to do payroll or that you're going to review the timesheet, that the IRS could come down on you and audit you as an employer. You've got to stop your language. And if you don't stop it, you're passing it on to your team. It's not a timesheet. It's a project labor invoice. Before they get a check from you, you must review all of these invoices that they're going to send to you on the 1st and the 15th. So even this morning at 6 o'clock, I'm still working on creating systems in my business to make my business more efficient. Does that make sense? So if you're green, you're going to grow. If you're ripe, you're going to rot, just like a tomato. So you've got to invest in your education. You've got to become affiliated with like-minded individuals that are going to help you get to the next level. Am I going to promote and be very proud of District RIA? Hell yeah. Because this is what we do every day. There are other RIAs all around the Beltway. Go visit them. We're all different. I know all of the founders of every one of the RIAs from Baltimore all the way down to Richmond. And every meeting has something different and something unique to bring to you. But you've got to network. You've got to get out there. You've got to build systems. You've got to network with like-minded people. And most importantly, in this market, if you want to truly succeed, you need an investor mindset and a realtor license. Because that realtor license is a tool that you will have in your back pocket that will take you further than what most other investors will be able to do. Well, there's fees involved. Okay, quit whining. There's fees involved with everything. It's a business expense. Well, you're just lucky, Tammy. No, I'm not. While I was in the hospital in traction, paralyzed on my right side, I lost my home. The bank took it. Guys, I've been through it all. So you need to dig down really, really deep. I'm thrilled that you're here tonight. And you need to have some honest conversations with yourself about where are you? What is it you really, really want? And are you really hungry? And are you really willing to do what it takes to go get it? Yeah, it's a sacrifice to be here this evening, and I applaud you. You're away from your family. You may have had to leave work early. Okay, yeah, you had to fight traffic. You know what? Okay, so what? Get over it. We live in D.C. That's just the way it is. But I'm really proud of you for taking the time out of your life to be here. And I'm really proud that you're here at District RIA. And I hope that you will take the time to go onto our website. I hope that you will take the time to really listen to what Sid is sharing with you. Because I've had the opportunity of not only sitting down with them in their office and talking to them, but this is an individual who's surrounded by a huge team. Why and how do I know? Part of his team is here. Even tonight to come present information and share with you, he's still surrounded by a team because he can't be a better human being without them. That's just the way it is. So who's on your team? You know, who are these people that are surrounding you right now that are on your team? You know, and if you need to talk to you can talk to me. If you need to talk to Vicky or Andre or Sid or any of us, we're here to support you. We're here to help you grow. We're here to help you get to the next level. That's what it really is all about. Well, Sid has done some extraordinary things. He's probably also made some extraordinary mistakes, just like I have. I know he's made a lot of money, like I have, and I know he's also probably lost a lot of money, like I have. It's just all part of being in the business. But the one thing that I respect and admire about him is that he is always, always on the cutting edge. Every single time we have talked, he's like so excited. Guess what we've got going on? Guess what we've got going on? We just did this. We just did this. I've got this going on. He's so excited to be here tonight. I mean, he brought so many different things. I'm not going to steal the thunder from him. I'm going to let him tell you his story and his background. But he's a true entrepreneur. He wears many, many different hats. Rightly so. He's a general contractor. He's a realtor. The owner of the company in partnership with the broker who is here. I'm so sorry, forgive me. What is your name?
Johnny Baker.
That's right. And I'm sure he'll introduce you. So they're going to share with you what they do and how they do it. How in the world does someone go out and rehab houses, flip houses, be the general contractor on the houses, run a brokerage, owns an accounting firm? I mean, just on and on and on and on. He's an extraordinary human being, and you wonder how he does it, and still takes time to celebrate holiday and be with his family. And I'm going to let him share that with you. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring up Mr. Sid Hameed and his team. So guys, please let's give him a huge Real Deal Investment Club District 3 warm welcome. You smell good. Do you guys need water?
Oh, no.
Anything to drink?
No.
You're good? Okay.
Well, thanks. She did a great job and
Yes.
explaining everything. And
I
appreciate
didn't
that.
explain anything. That's your job.
Well, this is Johnny Baker. He's the broker for the office. We're a broker for D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. This is Deidre. She's the office manager. And that's Clint Racine. He pretty much does everything else in the office, from IT to support to going out doing home inspections to putting contracts together. So there's a lot on his plate that he does as well. So like Tammy said, you have to have a team, and you got to be surrounded around good people. You know, because I mean, there's a lot of people out here that promise they could do all kinds of stuff, but it's a screening process. And Johnny's been in the game for over 25 years. He's an FHA 203K HUD inspector. He's been a broker for over 20-some years. He's also an investor. I met him about 12 years ago in Baltimore. I was doing a job down there, and Wells Fargo was the bank that I was using for the construction loan. And they sent Johnny out to do the inspection to make sure I did everything right for my next draw. And then we just hooked up and started talking, did another project. He was there again. Make long story short, I mean, you gotta have good people that have a lot of experience, because I don't know everything. And you know, we're not perfect, so but we gotta have people that we could bounce ideas off of and learn from. So Deidre's been in property management for over close to 12 years. She's been doing business development work. She's been running office admin operations. She handles everything from the office in terms of dealing with the agents, dealing with their contracts, dealing with the listings, putting them in the systems, dealing with accounting, dealing with just invoicing, all kinds of stuff that she does. So, I mean, like Tammy said, you know, I can't do all this stuff by myself. And, you know, we have another 5 people that are virtual assistants. We got people in the Philippines. We got, my accountant is over in North Carolina. I have a lady in Missouri that does a lot of my Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn stuff. I got the girls in the Philippines that do blogs, Facebook, Twitter, writing articles. So again, it's in order to have exposure, and people are gonna look you up. They're gonna wanna know who they're dealing with. I mean, who are you? What's your background? You know, so in order to come and take this thing really seriously, You gotta put the time in, you gotta put the energy in, and it's rewarding. I mean, there's no other business out there that you could basically control your time and do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? I work hard, but also play hard. So I think, real estate is one of those things that everybody needs. Everybody needs a place to sleep. Either you're gonna rent it or you're gonna own it. So it's just like air and food, you gotta have it. So it's gonna be around for the next 500 years, not longer. So you guys are in a great place, and this is a great time. Because the last 7 years, the market has been going down. In our area, it's stabilized. If you look at the housing numbers, they just came out for the second quarter of this year. DC and Maryland, Virginia has increased in volume. And then if you look at who's actually buying these properties, right? Most of the people that are buying these properties are investors. Because the banks are still so hard in terms of making loans to the first-time home buyers. They want a 700 credit score. They want money in the bank. You gotta have a stable job. There's no more of that where low docs and no documentation stuff. So the investors are buying almost close to 70% of the inventory out here. So either they're buying and holding for cash flow purposes, or they're buying and holding, like Tammy explained, and flipping the properties, right? So the importance of today's topic is to be an investor agent. And I'll explain more in terms of how you can get paid on both sides of the transaction, right? So what the investors always spend so much time in terms of looking for properties. They're looking at probates, they're looking at estate sales, they're looking at absentee owners, they're in the MRS looking for properties. They're spending so much time looking for this stuff. And this happened to me before, where I've been up all night looking for properties, and I find 5 or 6, and I call up my realtor. I'm like, hey, look, I want to put these contracts in tomorrow. The guy's not around until 4 o'clock the next day. And guess what? Somebody else put the contracts on the properties. So if I was my own agent, I could have put my own contracts in that night, right? And I could have got paid on that. But the thing about that is you just got to disclose. Disclosure is the key. As long as you disclose that you are a real estate agent, then everything is okay. So it's simple as that. A lot of people have this myth, well, I can't be an investor and I can't be an agent because of the gray area. Well, there's gray area in everything. But if you disclose, and that's what the National Association of Realtors want you to do, you should just disclose, then you're okay. Right? You deal with investors, and you're an agent. Do you buy any of your properties?
Yeah.
And then so you just disclose, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as simple as that. And this way you guys are not giving up the money. So if you put in 10, 12 hours looking for 5 deals like I did, well, why give the money to the agent? Write your own contracts. Pocket that money, use it towards the closing costs. Right? So that's what it's about. And right. I'll call them up. So but anyway, so we're gonna get into that, and then we're gonna get into also in terms of how to renovate the properties, how to use the right type of materials, how to hire the contractors, how to qualify the contractor, how to come up with a budget for your construction job, because every budget is gonna be different. If you're in what I categorize them by alphabet, like if you're in an A neighborhood, a B neighborhood, C, D, E neighborhood. In the A neighborhood, they're going to be $1 million homes, right? D neighborhoods are going to be $30,000, $40,000 homes, right? You never want to overbuild, right? You never want to create a Porsche on a Volkswagen lot,
Yes, sir.
right? Because people don't come with Volkswagen money, and that's one of the huge mistakes a lot of investors make. They want to put in marble, and granted, in the $80,000 neighborhood, oh, I'm going to get $200,000 for this. Well, it's got to appraise. Everything's got to appraise. If it's not going to appraise, you're out. So the other thing we're going to talk about is, how to choose your team, how to choose your electricians, how to choose your plumbers, your HVAC guys, your carpenters, your painters, your drywall guys. How to make sure they're giving you the proper pricing, right? So you can have a proper budget. And then how to create the timelines. If it's going to take you 8 weeks to get rid of this house, it's going to take you 12 weeks. You got to have a plan for everything, right? So, and I learned a lot of these things the hard way. I just jumped out there, and my first rehab job, the guy charged me $96,000. And now thinking back, I could have did that job for $45,000, but I didn't know. They were stealing my materials. They were talking, oh, we need 200 sheets of drywall. They used 100 on my job and take another 100 somewhere else, right? So, I mean, things like that. And also, the other thing is, you know, when you're dealing with mechanical stuff like plumbing and like electrical and HVAC, I mean, use a legitimate contract that's licensed and bonded, okay? Because the biggest thing is, you know, fires happen all the time with electrical. If they run the wrong wires, they run the wrong stuff, they could come back 2 years. Even though you sold the house, they could come back after 2 years. If somebody dies in that house, and they could sue you 2 years later, right? Your drywall, your baseboards, your hanging doors and windows, you know, you could get other contractors to do that. But your mechanical stuff, make sure you got a licensed, bonded type of person, and verify the insurance. You know, they could say, oh, I got insurance. Look at it, verify, make sure it's current, right? And then ask them to add you or add this particular property to the insurance policy, okay? So, you know, these are things that I didn't know, you know, years ago, but I learned the hard way. You know, we all make mistakes, but, you know, being in the game for a while, you got to keep improving it, right? Just like I was giving Francis an example earlier. It's like Kobe Bryant or James LeBron. I mean, these guys got good because they've been practicing day in, day out. Tiger Woods, look at him. He started at the age of 5, 6 years old. So the same thing with real estate. If you got a passion for it, you know, you want to learn it inside out, and you want to surround yourself around good, solid people that are going to protect you. Because you got to have eyes back of your head. You got to. Okay? So then we're going to also talk about wholesaling. Everybody talks about wholesaling. Well, I want to wholesale. I want to wholesale. I want to do. Danny was talking about doing assignments. Okay? You could do all these things, and there's potential out there. But again, if you're an agent, I will give you an example of, I have a wholesale team in my office where one of my wholesalers got a contract, got the property under contract. He, as a wholesaler, flipped it, made $6,000 on the wholesale part of it, and then listed the property and made commission after he sold it. Right? So the power of being an investor is huge. There's a fee associated with becoming an agent, but it's a write-off. It's a small fee. It really is, and it's a right. And the thing about, you know, becoming an agent, there's so much free information that's provided to you by the National Association of Realtors, by MRIS.com. When you go on there, there's all kinds of trends, what's happening in your neighborhood, City of Alexandria, Falls Church. You can see what's sold, the median price, the median income. You know, what's going on in the areas, how much supply, how much demand, you know, what has sold. All that stuff you need to know as an agent and an investor, right? So kind of, if I look at it like Goldman Sachs, right? Like if you look at stocks, right? So your stockbroker calls you, look, man, IBM's going to split tomorrow. Now let's buy IBM. You know, you gotta trust the guy. You gotta make sure he's doing his due diligence. You put in $500,000 into the IBM stock, right? Same thing with the investor agent. So if you have 5 or 6 clients that are investors and you call them, like, I got a great house in Falls Church, you can make $200,000 on it, this is what you got to do. As long as you educate people and do your due diligence, they'll have respect for you, right? So the thing about being an agent, people think, well, I got to go around on the weekends and show people all these properties and drive them around. You know, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is having 3 or 4 investors in your pipeline, because every investor is going to buy at least 3 to 7 properties per year, okay? And if you can get it on the buy side and you can get it on the sell side, you get double the commission. And if you're treating the person properly throughout the transaction, you know they're going to list it, you know they're going to get rid of it, because what does every investor want to do? They want to flip their paper. They want to move their money, right? And the faster you can help them move that money, the more they're going to deal with you. So as you know, there's a transaction coming to an end, where you tell them, look, here's 3 more properties right here that you should consider buying. So you keep their pipeline full, and they'll keep dealing with you. You only need 3 or 4 of these guys. You don't need 50 or 60 clients running around, want to waste your time and window shop. Right? So that's one of the things we'll go over today. How to locate a property. So people always know, well, how to find these properties, where are they? How to get to them, right? So we'll go over that. And then we'll go over the exit. What is the exit? So once you do find a deal, you located the property, you got your rehab budget, you figured out your timelines, you got your team, you got your contractors, you got your electricians.